So, yeah, okay then. So, members of the community plan committee, welcome to February 2023.
I'm saying done, but
Thank you for correcting the chair. Again, my diary. Another declaration to receive apologies for absence.
Councillors Minshall, Ryan, Bolton, Buckley and Staples.
No declaration of interest.
None shown.
To confirm and sign the minutes of community plan committee meeting held on the 14th of November 2020. Are you proposing, Todd? Yeah. Councillor Dunlop. All in favour? Thank you. Public participation appears not exceeding 50 minutes for members of the public to ask questions or
None shown.
Madam Chair. To review the year-to-date financial position for the community plan committee.
We associated with the factor, there's nothing challenging risks to that. So, going towards profile, future grants, for example, are progressing against an item in the duty for the
Anybody want to raise anything? Council gone through full council today as well. Hazel.
just to note that the thank you, Chair. Just to note that the mayor's allowance is well budget, so yeah, all press.
Noted. Anybody else? That's just noted.
Yeah.
Yeah. To consider matters related to grant applications received from, first of all, 6-1, Wilson House Scouts. This is a scout troop which runs off in the West End, is that correct?
Yes, it's fallen.
Yeah.
Seeking funding for a projection screen to be installed. And the provided information is requested. And it's managed to decide that's an appropriate application.
Martin, did you want to raise this?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Sorry. Councillor.
I find the costs of projector and screen expensive. Almost £1,100 for a projector. Having done a little research, good projector can cost between £300 to £500, far less than half the price quoted. Also, I've searched online for just projectors.co.uk and cannot find them. That might be a typo.
It's just projectors.
Just projectors. Well, that obviously is not a big issue. But I personally find £1,100 for a projector rather expensive. And perhaps an alternative could be sought for.
Would you justify that it might be something to do with the size and the capability of the projector compared to what we use for small space?
I'm not sure. I mean, having been a teacher, each classroom of course has a projector these days, but seems expensive to me. That's
I think that's Pebble Brook School, and they said that's about the prices that they were paying for that. You've got, you know, it's one which isn't just a plain really schools.
Well, the amount of 1,328 is nowhere near the maximum amount that we apply for other equipment. Councillor Rhodes?
Going back a long time, my children went to Scouts, and Scouts are quite good at raising funds. You know, we've not got any sort of, you know, contribution, have we? So, you know, I just think we could give them, say, projects, and they raise them with the screen.
Proposal for council.
That's the proposal, yes. Because you can use projectors without a screen. And we are already talking about them doing it for educational materials, which the scouting has changed.
Yeah, I usually get that out on the table, but perhaps it's gone on the screen.
No, I propose, sorry, I support the application. I've read that it's also, you know, far more environmental than producing printouts and handouts. Yeah, but I think Councillor Rhodes' suggestion.
So I've got a proposal for, and a seconder now for the fact that we will go with the projector and maybe some other options for. All those in favour?
There we go.
The next one, 6.2, is Vesta SFS Friday reset. The cost of £2,493.
This project seeks to support those living crew who are originally from Poland, support them in issues of isolation, also issues of domestic violence, and trying to improve their health and well-being outcomes. We're asked by Grant's overview group for answered.
Just concerned that account for September 22 we haven't prepared them yet. Got a year in September then, the account should be done pretty quickly within that year.
Sorry.
I mean, I know it's done, passive plots put that with accounts, but, it says Polish adults, in crew we've got so many more nationalities Polish. And, you know, I've no doubt that there are issues around, multiple disadvantages, but not just the Polish. And I know that Cheshire Without Abuse and other organisations deal with very, very similar issues to what we're dealing with. And it's not whatever nationality you know. And yeah, and they're not saying I'm going to support Polish. And you're saying that you might have women outside of the outside of the group, but we will ask requests from women living outside of the group. We will ask them for their connections to the town. That's still not
Councillor,
within the area, is it?
Councillor Edwards.
I support this because although it's only for the Polish community, it is services and support in Polish. And having lived abroad several years and not being a native or not being able to speak the native language, I think this is a unique project that supports, yes, a particular community, but in their language. And if it was people from multiple countries, that wouldn't function. So I think it's a
Councillor Fadis.
Thank you, Amelia. I'm in agreement with all that's being said. I remember our family was away, and that was several years ago, and they were very keen to get in touch with, to get into the communities that were really hard to reach, especially women folk and children who maybe didn't speak English, but understand and put the posters out to signpost people towards the services, which I think you've got to realise that if you are a victim of domestic abuse, you feel at a disadvantage anyway of coming forward. So if you don't speak the language, you're going to feel it. So yeah, I would have liked it to do more for the whole community, rather than just, I mean, I think it's excellent for the archive of friends, but to help everybody. To give the same opportunity to anybody who needs help.
Councillor Rhodes.
Treasuries do provide services for Polish and provide community connectors who speak not only Polish but other languages that residents can access. So, you know, I support the idea, but I'm not certain that this is the best project.
It's for educational purposes. My own. If that is the case, why is there a charity set up for?
Yeah, I don't know, but from my experience, as a clerk, like assist me on this, charities don't always work together or always know about what's available. And the same with Cheshire Youth Services, there was a team which was supporting then was Polish workers. His name is out of my head, and I'm sure I've sat next to her for several years. So, and I don't know whether that perhaps what that should be one of the questions that we asked to them or found out is what actually why we feel there is a need, given that there are alternative services with Cheshire Without Abuse and Cheshire East Adult Safeguarding Board, which has projects which are directed towards supporting these women. And the domestic abuse too. Domestic abuse too, yes. So perhaps not say no, but defer it with and finding out what other services are available and why they feel there is a need to deliver this project now.
I think that's all this proposal coming from Councillor Clark. But Councillor Fadis said around that before we.
Yeah, it may not relevant, but they say Northwich, and it's in residents residing in Cheshire. So they are providing help for people with Cheshire West.
That was one of the questions which I actually put.
Yeah, it's one of the blacks that came back and said that they would, you know, if he's not willing from outside of the group, we ask them for the connections that we have in town. So, if you post the Poland next month,
You may have lived in the town for a while.
yeah,
Sorry,
That's fine. And I think perhaps if we go towards the Councillor Clark's proposal.
I would second
Reserve.
that.
Are we all in favour?
This to defer.
Defer. So we're all in favour.
Can I see clarification on the deferral to what additional information?
to find out exactly what services have been delivered by Cheshire East Council and Cheshire Without Abuse supporting the Polish group.
And also what different service would they find to what is already provided. or added value.
To those people who could.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This case studies that they put forward, they say,
Okay, can we move on to number 6.3, which is Be Well, Stay Well. BIC. Be Well, Stay Well.
This application came in and a number of questions were asked of it, information wasn't readily submitted, and it would be hard to approve the ground without that information. I would recommend this application is completely fine.
Do you want to speak on this?
no, I spot that all, I asked those questions and not responded to them, so.
Well, there was a response.
But
Councillor.
I think, it's a bit like the last one, I think there are very similar services provided by other organisations. Everybody's sports and leisure. I mean, it's GP referral, it's not really sports and recreation, that would be the usual path. But as I say, I'm not an expert on this. No, that's exactly right. And also, the funding that we're supposed to have, we haven't had no change.
So we say Christiansen's application down. Or
Find it this morning. Recommendation.
Thank you.
That's the grant applications, is that right, Mark? Finished. Right, move on to number 7, to provide the end of grant update to members regarding the groups funded within the last financial year. Members.
Yeah, we noted the community officer has gone to the funded organisations that are falling due and sought an update, which is compiled and circulated to you, and provides grant reports on a number of them. Quite frankly, I haven't memorised this yet.
What we do that.
Yeah.
And it's put that, I think, monitoring that's taking place, it is really good and is achieving what we wanted, which is make sure that the projects are really delivered.
Councillor Clark. Anybody else want to comment?
So we know that today, community development officer will provide us with evaluation.
Anybody else want to add anything to item number 7? Councillor Barrett.
Just reading the report on the spring office. I don't think we get a pressure indoors, but the young people look forward to the sessions. This were Wednesdays as a social event, and a chance to meet friends and just run with friends, and parents reported that their young person sleep better on a Wednesday. Now, wouldn't that be great? That would really, that would be.
Thank
That's
you.
worthwhile.
Yeah, we'll try that one.
Councillor Barrett, anybody else? On to item 7.1, to provide an update on the Noble Road Action Group grant condition variation.
Yeah, the grant was awarded for the provision of external wall-mounted Christmas trees for decoration to management for businesses. The community officer was contacted by the Manchester Road Action Group to ask that vary, to which they responded no. Then reported that what was installed was not what was applied for. Clarified to the group. and members are now asked to consider what, if any, response to the situation would like to take. For an example, might be that the applicant organisation should be informed of funds used for the purchase detailed in the application phase compliant should result in a reclaim of the grant money award.
Can I ask what's happened to the items that were bought?
Well, they still exist.
Yeah, who's,
They belong
yeah.
to the Nantwich Road Action Plan.
Oh, I see.
Stored. So,
Anybody else? Suggest that we go to the United Production properties.
I would say in their defence, they applied and the response was the committee was doing with absolute magnitude and ability. But at that point, due to no one's fault, the product they thought they were buying was no longer available. However, they did then ask, can we buy something else? Which still correct, so no, the decision committee really made a decision based on the pressure at the time. And then to go ahead against that response was a little bit of a surprise. And equally, I think the end product that was chosen may it's not quite valuable as what was anticipated.
where design measuring notes?
You had to look hard to find them, actually.
I went out to look for
They
it.
weren't as eye-catching as trees, you know, trees.
So there was a reason why they got that, and that was because the stock they were planning on buying had gone.
There's a lot of people on that group who know that actually, you know, grant is for specific item.
They had been informed in writing that it was a specific item required.
So obviously, is that, which actually, you pay for this.
If I can suggest that at this stage it might be entirely reasonable to inform them they should secure the products that were expected to be secured with the grant funds, or they may well be subject to a retained grant. I perceive that they will find a means to find the product.
December this year.
Yeah, the horse has bolted a bit, I'm afraid. Yeah,
Well,
there is that.
Councillor Rowan.
For me, I would just ask them that because they patently were supposed to put trees, they didn't. And at £500, the mesh ball, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I mean, the big ones that are up on the market square didn't cost that much each. So I just think it's really because it was spent £2,000 balls, mesh balls. But then I'm a bit extreme in my views, so I'll go with what the majority of the committee feel.
I reflect council's views. However, I don't perceive having bought the balls, the money is in their account, and the sat in a large reserve. So I wonder if we give them the opportunity to renegotiate their supplier, to give what they were expecting in the first place, will provide an end result with the correct products on the wall that was expected and no need to bankrupt the community. That's why I'm suggesting. But if they're not willing to do that, I think the council is exactly right. That's the punitive action.
Because I know we've been, but you have to show as a council that when you give a grant, you intend that grant to use that purpose. And I noticed some of the evaluations, people have not managed to do quite what they planned for the grant, but they've used it for a similar thing, and I think that's what they've gone for the balls. But 20 Christmas trees down that would have an impact. Those mesh balls. So yeah. I will stop talking.
Proposal to actually take, just to tell Nantwich Road Action, our action would be that they would have to replace
provide the equipment that was applied for or return the funds. I would suggest.
Would we be all in favour? Sorry, councillor Edwards, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, briefly, I just wanted to say, you know, we get a lot of applicants. And sadly, we can't fund everyone. They have been selected, have misused, by the sounds of it, those funds. So I think this should go on their record. If they do apply for further funding.
It will be on there.
So we need a proposer, second.
Proposer and seconder for supplementary action group that they need to use the funds for the original purpose which they applied for.
Or repay.
Or repay it. Councillor Clark, have a second of all in favour. No. Item number 8. To provide an update on the community plan and grants policy.
This has come through committee once or twice, and it has been reviewed. I apologise, it's not under my meeting, it's been quite appropriate by the community officer. In the grants policy, this is an observation of mine, I may have failed to raise before, which I apologise for. I don't know. It doesn't specify to seek match funding in grant applications. I personally would recommend and expect to see some match funding in grant applications. 100% grant applications tend to be less sustainable than those that require a contribution and significant input from the applicant organisation. I'm not suggesting a portion or that I'm right. You can obviously say 100% funding is applicable, but I wanted to throw that into the mix whilst we're considering prior to recommending to council.
Yeah.
You might want to consider a number. If you're expecting match funding, is there a minimum amount you might expect, or is it to be judged on each case?
I think 25% minimum would be a gesture, but they're looking elsewhere and they're trying to be a little bit more sustainable, less dependent.
What do you have a sliding scale?
You do the all realistic.
How would that be?
25% for grants under £1,000, 50% for grants over. That's a very simplistic approach, maybe, but
Because it's not, people applying, generally organisations that apply for small grants don't have funding stream. So maybe 15% for them, but for the larger ones. Yeah. Some of these organisations you could sell part of a bigger organisation. Maybe that would be bigger than.
Yeah, the one that comes to mind is actually one was fire, who only asked for 250 and for them to actually raise 50% of that, and 25% was, you know, the government coming to us for 250 because he hadn't got funds.
So something like less than £500, zero, between 500 and 1,000, 15%, and then over 1,000, 29%.
got that.
And are we making that a
Yeah.
solid
Yeah.
Part of the policy, that's what you decide.
for all that?
Yes, we do get some of those. Well, again, that's something.
Well, we do get some which are the amount.
500 and just elsewhere.
It's constraints.
Years we only gave £1,000. And then we had sort of two-tier grant system where there was 1,000, 2,000, and then we've got this 2,500, and I don't, from my perspective, personally, sometimes I think once it's £2,500, you know, I don't see the logic of some of the things they have to do. So that's just my personal perspective.
May I ask a question for myself? Are we saying that there will never be a grant of £2,500?
Yeah, well, it would. If someone was spending on a project, I can't remember 25%, to be honest, but someone was spending on a project of £3,500, someone wanted £2,500, that's great, 25% contribution. So there's availability for those sorts of things still. And we do get grant applications for projects that are quite considerable,
Yeah,
so
we get-
16,000, £17,000 projects, and actually £2,500. So that's
show
true.
the other,
Yeah.
where we get all
We
the
do-
other
we do that.
funding from.
You can,
Yeah, I think we need to have this one.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
huge factor.
I feel like quite challenging to see a project that has its £2,500, especially £2,500. I really didn't demonstrate for I'm sure robustness, resilience or scrutiny.
Councillor,
This setting, a percentage, result in them not coming to us first. And then if they can't, can't find it, that's it, over. So, it's a consequence of what we discussed.
I'd like to be sick. For the church, try to raise 10%, 20%, 25%, depending on what would be.
That would be the consequence.
25% of £2,500 project is £600.
So what I'm saying, are you asking President X yours for 2,500? They have to say to us, rules of 25%, right? We have raised other sources, 625, balance.
That would be a demonstration of that sort of step.
And obviously that would scale down according to what we're asking for. Down to 500, just below 500, we're going to ask for.
That's what's proposed at the minute. It's a time scale of anything lower than £500, no much funding is required. Might well be welcome, but not required. Anything between 500 and 1,000, 15% is required. Anything over £1,000, 25%.
Am I right in thinking Councillor Edwards is more worried about that they wouldn't apply if that sort of
Well, I think
situation is
that is a negative consequence of what we're discussing, I think. If, for example, our first applicant this evening wanted 13, I think that. So that would be, they would have to already have found £300 or so.
And actually, we sent it back to them saying actually that,
Yeah.
I say we don't fund the project, we're saying, right, you've got to work with us. Match funding, we've got to, so in effect, we've done that on a number of grants this year, haven't we? I'm saying, well, we won't fund that part of the grant, we don't fund that part, but we will do this much towards the project. So, in a way, we have been doing that.
Qualifications have been challenging, I think.
Yeah.
But funding the policy provides for more structure. If members of my side, please don't think I'm forcing you, sorry, I'm suggesting.
Do we reduce it to 20% rather than 25%?
I think there's a difference between saying don't apply unless and apply and maybe you have to register yourself. There's a big difference between those two.
Do we still have those pots of money that where it's designed to help them? So if someone approaches us and they've got a particular project, but they haven't got any match funding, there's a chance that they could apply the other kind of grant.
Kind of, yeah, that sits within the business delivery strategy and the corporate strategy. So if an organisation aligns with what we're trying to achieve, solve the problem, then that would be funded that direction. But that generally goes up for calls of interest and people to make a business case for why they might be the organisation pay. I understand the principle of what you're saying. I would suggest I think many people, I say like people suffering sick or voluntary bodies, and we have to be inventive when we're applying for grants. We have to be inventive when we're trying to balance what's in the voluntary bodies, and that includes various forms of fundraising. Some of those are very traditional fundraising, selling raffle tickets and making cakes. It does add money to the pot, and it also creates sustainable buying in private sense as well. That's why I recommend it to you, but please don't feel driven down. Not my direct.
Anybody else? Councillor Bennett.
Just to note that in the summary of the 8 of those projects have actually been evaluated in 2005. So are people not being too frugal? We've obviously got to support charities that they can make people. Are they thinking the most expensive item for what? And is this best value for money?
We've got to bear in mind that at the end of the day is we're spending. We've got to be sure that we're spending on something that's sustainable. And we will work with people.
Yeah, but you know, people see it.
I think it's a big decision. It obviously promotes sustainability. It promotes resourcefulness and looking at more than one funder. But it may deter applicants.
With some of the applications I've seen in the past ones, we do not be submitted. I'm saying no. People does not put in grants, reject at the beginning of this council. Or any other electrical equipment for that matter.
If you want to match funding route that's entitled to you, if you're nervous of what that might be, so you might want to add the line at the absolute discretion of the committee. This could be overruled to have a lesser percentage. Phrase that accordingly. If you get out of jail free card.
I think if we said your application has a much greater chance if you have match funding. But yeah,
Yeah, the council expects a level of match funding.
but to make it a condition has positives and negatives. For example, when we've had the grant for technology, as I mentioned earlier, certain items are more expensive than others, and if they have to match fund, perhaps they would propose a cheaper alternative. Which would be positive.
I'm going to propose that we have the sliding scale which has been suggested.
As rigid as suggested.
And I understand what is concerns, but I think if we get somebody whose project we really want to support, we haven't got any match funding. But I think for the conditions of grant, I think people need a clear line.
25% of the month. Sorry, the million. 20%.
I'm suggesting 20% of between 1,000 and 2,000. No, between 1,000 and 2,500.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Tom, I'm not being accurate.
20%. Fair enough.
But as a condition of application, or
I think it should just be, these are the things you need to do before you apply. And I'm sure that we've got officers who can Because all these grants are talked through by officers and by the grants committee. So I'm sure that they can use their discretion.
I would agree with you. And also, someone who's applied for grants from college bodies many times. It's extremely difficult not to have so much.
And it doesn't have to be, it can be
It can be in-kind provision of services still. Yeah. It can demonstrate, just like Councillor Rose said, that's the conversation the community officer with the potential
Yeah,
groups
yeah,
to
it's-
demonstrate that
yeah,
intent.
That again, the number of,
Yeah.
you know, the higher of the route is being when first.
Yeah.
Which has a monetary value to it, or the project officer is giving their time for free, or we've got an architect giving time for free, so that's.
They'll be waiting.
Okay, so can I've got a proposal, can I have a second? Councillor Rhodes proposed and Councillor Clark seconded, are we all in favour? I'll discuss that. Moving on to item number 9, to provide an update of members on the progress of the business delivery plan.
The community officer has provided nothing we're up to. There's lots of work going on. You can see from that call that's been delivered so far and the work they're doing. So that's really for noting. Any in-depth questions? I'll try and answer them.
Any questions, councillors?
I just like to thank the officers for the update and the note, the good work that's going on around wonderful.
Anybody else? Take that as noted on item number 9, then, thank you. Number 10 is to consider committee budget for 2023 and 24.
So, effectively, the officer has drafted out the business delivery plan for the coming financial year in the approved budget, and given an indication of spend in line with those budgets. As you recall, each committee drafts of the business delivery plan are all compiled into the council's business plan for the financial year. To give the councillors and officers clear understanding of expected direction and delivery at the earliest point at the start of the financial year. So in this draft, and it is a draft, you'll get another look at this in March anyway. The officers dealt with the civic costs and grants in line with expectations, just to be spent as would be normal. Grant scheme of £50,000 to be applied for. Sustaining network proposal in that is £8,000 towards food bank support. And it's £2,000 as yet defined. That provides a certain amount of flex within the year to be responsive or proactive and take on opportunities or deal with risks. Community commissioning, the base has been looking towards the holiday hunger and lunch clubs and crew. There's no proposal put forward for that, but that will be that budget of £5,000 to be allocated, which requires the details to be put forward. Yeah, we've got a system for that. True light service will be delivered within budget. The remembrance service again delivered within the budget. Well-being, so there's activities, pop-up park fitness groups that go on already. Sitting in the outdoor space at budget £6,000 for the most of the coming year. The walking groups to deal with mental health and isolation, £2,000. Specific approaches to male mental health and female mental health of £2,500 allocated for those. Young person supported adults mental health of £2,500. Dementia support work allocated £2,500. Crucial crew child safety media, which is the annual event that is very well supported by schools and crew. Rather than come for a grant at the end, that was discussed at past meeting budget. There's no discussion on which responsible that was taking forward the project, available funds this year. And bereavement support £2,500, which is not yet been defined out. So that is the current draft of proposed work from this committee that is expected, with some available budget there to be responsive, as well as taking opportunities and risks. So not every penny is allocated out at the start of the year, because you might have missed opportunities later on. So if we've got any amendments you want to make to that, or if we want to consider it and maybe come with any amendments at the next meeting, but the next meeting will be asked to recommend.
Any amendments? Councillor Farris.
And not really an amendment, just a question really, please. And the public parks, were they aimed at children? The wishing of them?
Not aimed at a specific group. They are accessible, and they are accessed by family groups quite often. So that would be not just young people, but family members. There are individuals who access it of different ages, and one or two children have been able to take part.
Secondly, the rooms provision, is that the warm places?
Yes, if you recall, the committee agreed that what budget was unallocated towards the end of 2022 could then be pooled and fund activities and warm spaces around the town during this winter. And that's what we've already done. Now, that's not a specific budget line because it was created out of available funds to be responsive this winter. So it's listed in there with no number attached, because will we be looking to do it in the winter or will we not? That's
Well, we'll be having people.
feedback on.
Farris, any others? That's it. Isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll take a vote or anything for that.
Well, you don't have to, you received it and you're aware of it. I would, at the next meeting, you'll be asked to vote and recommend a disciplinary plan to the council.
The last item on the agenda is to note the proposed date for the next meeting, which is Tuesday, 14th March, 3 at 6 p.m. Councillor Clark, thank you, and thank you all for attending. It's a really good discussion on that.